Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. I'm Stephanie Bree. I'm a transgender woman and I talk about all things horror, and today we're talking about the original Hellraiser movie. So we'll be getting through the franchise here soon enough, but I didn't want to do a whole franchise series all at once because these movies are hard to track down. So the original Hellraiser is a movie by Clive Barker, and it's based kind of on a book of his. It starts out with this guy who is seeking a puzzle box. And if you open the puzzle box, you open a door to hell, and these creatures called Cenobites come out and they torture you. And he gets dragged to hell and they dismantle his body so that there's nothing left but just pieces of him lying on the floor. Not even pieces of body, pieces of flesh. Like no bones, nothing. It's just literal, just pieces of flesh lying on the floor. There's nothing left of him. Then we cut to his brother and ex-lover, who is now dating his brother, moving into a house, this big old house. And the daughter shows up. The brother's daughter shows up. And they have like a little housewarming party. And through the process of it all, the dad of the girl, the brother of the guy in hell, cuts his hand and drips some blood on the floor where Frank is the guy who died. And the blood resurrects his bones, just his bones, with a little bit of muscle and blood on them. So he figures out that the way to escape the Cenobites is to kill people and get their blood, but he can't go outside and lure people into the house. So he has to seduce his ex-lover, who's currently engaged, I believe, to his brother. It's complicated. It's British. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how British relationships work. I know there's a lot of incest in the royal family, so why not? But anyways, yeah, I take shots at the British. What about it? I'm American. So he convinces his lover, his former lover, to reignite her flame for him. But in order to get his body back, she's got to kill for him. Or lure men into the closet for him to kill them. Or the attic, I should say. For him to kill them. And so that's what she starts to do. One day, Frank, attacks Christy. Christy's the daughter. And she steals the puzzle box and escapes. And when she gets picked up by the police, she's sitting in a hospital playing with the puzzle box, and she solves the puzzle like an idiot and summons the Cenobites. And now they want to torture her because fresh meat, you know. And she's all, well, Frank escaped. And they're like, what's it to us? You know, we got you. You're more fun. And she's begging, no, I can give you Frank. If I give you Frank, will you let me go? And they're like, give us Frank. They didn't say they'd let her go, but they're like, yeah, fuck it. Give us Frank. So she goes back to the house to get Frank. Only Frank has at this point killed her dad and taken his body. And leads her to believe that her dad killed Frank, and she's all distraught because if she can't give Frank to the Cenobites, they're going to take her to hell. But through a struggle, because he tries to sexually assault her, like Frank did, in front of his girlfriend, or woman, or lover, or whatever, I don't know. And she rips a piece of his face off and figures out he's Frank. So she calls the Cenobites, and they show up, and they're like, say it. We need to hear it. Say his name, or he needs to say his name. So she tricks him into saying he's Frank. And the Cenobites show up, and they just rip him to fucking shreds again. And then the Cenobites go after Christy, and she's like, you said if I gave you Frank, you'd leave me alone. And they said, no, we didn't say that. We just said we wanted Frank back. So Christy figures out that if she solves the puzzle in reverse, she can send them back to hell, which she does, but not before the house blows up and gets sucked into hell with them, the Cenobites. She gets outside, and this old man, this hobo who had been bouncing around the movie that I forgot about, shows up, turns into a demon, and flies off with the puzzle box, and that's the end of the movie. This is a really creepy movie. It's actually pretty scary. Very gory, very bloody. If you've ever seen A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and you've seen Freddy's resurrection scene, that was actually ripping off this movie. So you kind of have an idea of what Frank's resurrection scene was like, which is really cool. I think they did it better than Elm Street did, and I love the Elm Street resurrection scene. I just think Hellraiser did it better. It's got some good kills. It's got an intriguing story. It's got beautiful visuals. The Cenobites are, fucking fantastic. They're like iconic horror villains. Especially Pinhead. You've heard of Pinhead. Even if you've never seen this movie, you've seen pictures of him. So Hellraiser is definitely a buy. This is a must-own movie. Some of the sequels are also going to be explored in the near future. But this first movie in the franchise is definitely worthy of your time. It needs to be in your horror collection. Stay cool.